Hi everyone, Tim here. Been away for a while from doing my videos, um, mainly because a lot of life has got in the way. But I want to start doing them again. Um, Not happy doing a video at the moment, just because I need to find somewhere where the picture quality is good enough. But I would like to start doing my videos again. Um, Gonna start this off with just like a podcast, I guess. And it literally just to go through my predictions for Hell in a Cell. Um, it's a nice, easy one to get into, I think. Yeah, so we'll just crack right on. Um, at the time of recording this, I don't think any kickoff show matches have been advertised. Um, I'll have a quick look in a minute. Um, Maybe at the end of this. But let's get straight into it. So starting off with one of the first matches actually inside the cell. That's Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. Um, I think for storyline purposes, I think Randy has to win. The whole purpose of his heel turn is that he wants to destroy our heroes, the fans' heroes. Um, and if he loses, it doesn't really make much sense. Um, Jeff probably needs to take some time off. He's been having a few issues the past few months. Both of the Hardy brothers seem to be having issues. That's why Matt's not been on TV for a while. Um, Jeff has says that he's one of the things he wanted to do coming back to WWE was have a Hell in a Cell match. So I think he'll have that. Well, he's obviously having that now. Um, I think he's going to take a big bump. Not sure whether it's off the whether it's a swanton off the cell or gets thrown off the cell, or I don't know. But I think this will. I think Randy will win, and I think it will write Jeff Hardy off TV for a while. Um, I just don't want it to do too much damage to Jeff. He's taken a lot of big bumps over the years. He's in his 40s now. He doesn't really need to do it, but he's a bit of a thrill seeker, isn't he? So I think that's why he's doing it. Just please, Jeff, do not die. Going on to the next match, let's have a Raw one. So, Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, the relatively new Raw Tag Team Champions, against Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Um, I can't see Rollins and Ambrose picking up the belts purely because Drew and Dolph have only just picked them up. Um, so I think Dolph and Drew will retain. I don't think it'll be a clean win. Um, I think they will either win or they will retain via disqualification, or there will be some kind of shenanigans on the pin. I think Rollins will eat the pin. I think it'll either be a dirty pin. Um, they've got the trunks or the ropes or God knows what. Um, I think to keep the storyline going, I think it will be Ziggler and McIntyre that retain. Maybe they'll get help by Braun, and then Roman comes out. Who knows? But I think Ziggler and McIntyre retain. Thinking about it, I don't actually see. I was just wondering if there'd be any title changes, but I think there will be. Um, Moving back over to SmackDown, probably the least anticipated Daniel Bryan and Miz match there is ever going to be. So Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella versus Miz and Maurice. Um, does anybody really care that Brie and Maurice are involved? It just seems to be dragging out the feud for no apparent reason. Um, in the couple of matches that Brie has had since her and Nikki have been back, she's not looked great. She's had trouble with her suicide dives, and Maryse hasn't wrestled in. I, I mean, she had a mixed tag against Nikki Bella and John Cena last, not last WrestleMania, but the one before. Um, so I don't think it's going to be fun. Um, in the go home show on SmackDown on Tuesday, Daniel Bryan and Brie stood tall at the end of it. So I think with that in mind, I can see Miz and Maryse picking up the win. Again, through dirty tactics or shenanigans. One thing I will say is I'm not really into this feud between Daniel Bryan and The Miz. I'm into the fact that they're having a feud because I think their history kind of dictates that they should have one, especially with that awesome talking smack kind of shoot work promo that they did together. But the stupid thing is about their feud at the moment is that it seems to be around wanting to punch Miz in the face, and I know that harks back to the first season of NXT when the Miz was Daniel Bryan's mentor, and he mentions that he wants to punch him in the face. Get over it. You don't have to keep bringing it up. I mean, it's just lazy writing. I think there's more compelling storyline there. And yeah, it's not really adding Brie Maryse into it. Hasn't really added anything. It's just made it more annoying to me. But yeah, Miz and Maryse to win. Back on to Raw. Let's have a look. So, Women's Raw Championship. So for the Raw Women's Championship, Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss. Their first match, where Rousey won the title at SummerSlam, was a squash. Alexa looked really weak. I don't think it'll be as easy for Ronda this time round, but I think she will retain. Possibly with having to overcome the odds with Mickie James and Alicia Fox getting involved, Natalya coming out to help fend them off for Ronda. I think Ronda will probably end up throwing one of them around anyway, probably Alicia Fox. Bliss will put up more of a fight this time round, but I think it will still be a pretty comfortable win for Ronda Rousey. Moving on back to SmackDown, there's actually more SmackDown matches than Raw matches on this card. It's a bit strange. You'd have thought they'd have equal number of each. For the Women's SmackDown Championship, Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. My heart says Becky. Becky, because she has been fantastic. Her heel turn that I think they wanted to be a full-on heel turn, but because she was getting such an awesome response from the crowd, I think they're going to kind of have her as a tweener, maybe, or just shades of grey in her character. She's predominantly a heel, or maybe she's only a heel when it comes to Charlotte. There's a possibility that Charlotte wins again and then Becky goes full on heel, and it's not just heel on Charlotte, it's heel on everyone, starts kicking everyone's ass. And I know Charlotte's only just picked up the title at SummerSlam, but Becky deserves it. The fact that she's only had one title reign and Charlotte's on 7 is just stupid. I know there was a period where Charlotte and Sasha were kind of hot potato in the Raw Women's title. That's why her reigns have been overinflated. But the fact that she's already got 2 SmackDown title reigns and Becky Lynch has only got 1 is an absolute travesty. And Becky needs to win, and she needs to kick ass, and it will be fantastic. Heading back over to Raw. No, let's stick with SmackDown. For the tag team titles, New Day against Rusev Day. Again, New Day have only just picked the belts up. There's been a lot of title changes recently. So I'm not sure they'll drop the title so soon. But I would love them to put the belt on Rusev Day, because it would make the reconciliation over the past couple of weeks make sense. The crowd are behind them. Aiden English has been putting in some really good performances recently. The only thing that I could think where we could see New Day retain, I mean, they might just put on a fantastic match, a New Day retain like that, and I would be perfectly fine with that. That would be the best. I mean, if Rusev Day aren't going to pick it up, then if New Day win clean and there's no shenanigans, they just shake hands at the end of the match, no heel turn, nothing, I'd be completely fine with that. Unfortunately, I don't have much faith in WWE, so what I could see is either New Day win clean, they turn Rusev Day heel, which they shouldn't because it's stupid. Everybody wants them to be face. They're a face team. They get cheered too much to be a heel team. But what I could see happen is possibly the Bar or Sanity getting involved, making it a no contest or a disqualification or something. And as much as I want Sanity, at least, because I think the Bar they're being used well, although they've been off TV for a while. They are being used well when they are being used. Sanity don't win much, and Sanity should be destroying teams. Sanity should be destroying teams like the Bludgeon Brothers were, especially as they've got the man advantage. Killian Dane's fantastic. Eric Young is, he's always a 7 out of 10 kind of guy match wise, and Alexander Wolf, Wally Mosh is in the middle of the ring, so how can you not like that? So yeah, I could see the Bar of Sanity getting involved. I hope they don't, but ultimately I think they will, and so I think New Day will retain, which is unfortunate for Rusev Day. But if Rusev Day do lose, then I hope this doesn't mean that they'll just disappear, kind of like Fashion Police did, because they really did. So they were on a high, they were on a roll. They'd got themselves over, had their title shot, didn't win it, and then kind of fell into obscurity. Moving on to Raw, because what I'm going to do is put the WWE Championship as the main event, because that's something that WWE don't do. So for the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns, the champion, versus Braun Strowman, who's cashing in his Money in the Bank contract inside Hell in a Cell, only the second match for Inside the Cell, with Mick Foley as ref. That doesn't make a lot of sense, having Mick Foley as ref. Stephanie McMahon appointing him as the special guest ref doesn't make sense, considering he's face, she's heel. Maybe he's going to turn heel. Maybe he's going to cost Reigns accidentally. I don't know how that is. Maybe Braun just destroys Foley for some reason, which again wouldn't make sense, and especially the state that Mick Foley's in these days, how battered his body is from years and years of, well, throwing himself off the Hell in a Cell, wouldn't be a good idea. So I think Reigns will retain. But I think it's going to take a lot to put Strowman down. Ziggler and McIntyre and Rollins and Ambrose will get involved somehow, but I'm not sure how. But yeah, Reigns will retain. What I don't know is, because surely Hell in a Cell, you used to be able to win by pinfall, submission, or escaping the cell. But in the last few Hell in a Cell matches, escaping the cell doesn't actually mean that you've won, which doesn't really make sense. You know, the whole the match between Shane and Kevin Owens last year, they had already escaped the cell. Oh no, they'd put a strange clause into that one, hadn't they? It was a false count anywhere, which kind of gave away that they were going to. Yeah, that really doesn't make much sense, does it? A false count anywhere inside Hell in a Cell. But yeah, no, I think Reigns retains. I think he pins Strowman. It's gonna take like 10 Superman punches and 3 spears to put him down. I think because they want to keep Strowman looking strong, because you know he got crushed by a trash lorry last year and survived that, and all sorts has happened to him, and he survived all of that. So it needs to take something big to put Strowman down. I think 3 consecutive spears will do it. Reigns will retain. Probably get booed. Although Strowman has now turned fully heel with his Dogs of War faction, which I think is what they'll end up calling them. People still like him. People like that he just destroys things. I mean, he's cut out to get these hands chanting and t-shirt and everything, so that's good. So it does mean that they are all in on him going heel. But he does still get cheered because people want to see him F stuff up. Moving on to what should be the main event, but it's not going to be, for the WWE Championship. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. I completely understand that they want AJ to be the champion, because he's on the cover of 2K19, and I'd be totally fine with that. But I think Samoa Joe needs to win, because he hasn't actually won a feud since he's come up to main roster. He was kind of in a feud with Seth Rollins, but then they both got injured. Or Samoa Joe certainly got injured before Seth faced Triple H at WrestleMania 2 years ago. Was he? I think he was injured for this WrestleMania as well. I think there was something that kept him out of this WrestleMania. I can't remember what he was in. But yeah, I don't think he's actually won a feud with anyone since coming up to Maine nearly 18 months ago. And I think if he does win, that prolongs the feud again, and then AJ can win it back at Super Showdown or Survivor Series if they don't have the champion versus champion matches. What would be quite interesting if they did some kind of fatal 4-way, and So between the Universal Champion, WWE Champion, and their number one contenders. And then whoever picks up the pin either retains their own belt or wins the belt of their brand. That would be quite interesting. If they're not doing champion versus champion, have AJ versus Samoa Joe again, and AJ can win it back, and then I don't know, lose it to the Miz at Royal Rumble. Seems totally plausible to me. Samoa Joe has been absolutely fantastic with his promos. It doesn't matter what he's given. His promos have always been brilliant, whether it was the one on Paul Heyman when he backed him into the corner, basically just told him that he was going to put him in a coquina clutch and put him to sleep. Even turning something as daft as calling, saying to AJ Styles' wife that, you know, he's their daddy now, and just all over, you know, who's going to have custody of the child, AJ's children, or, you know, being their new daddy or whatever. I mean, it's a stupid premise, but his little storybook thing on Tuesday was actually quite entertaining for what it was. Not many of the WWE superstars would have been able to make that as interesting as it was. And I just want to see a belt on Samoa Joe because he's fantastic. He's probably the best character in WWE with the intensity he gets into his promos. He genuinely looks like he could beat you up. He genuinely looks like a tough SOB, as Stone Cold would say. Yeah, who wouldn't want to see a WWE champion Samoa Joe? And then he can kind of feud with somebody else, or he can, you know, feud with AJ going into SummerSlam, Survivor Series. And if AJ does retain, I don't see how they can string out the feud. Maybe they can. Maybe Joe can come up with something else. Maybe he can demand a rematch if there's some shenanigans. But I don't think there will be. I don't think there'll be a DQ like there was at SummerSlam. I think there'll be a relatively clean win for either. And I think it will be Samoa Joe. Right, that's all of them. Let's just have a quick look at WWE.com to see if any kickoff matches have been announced, because they hadn't the last time I checked. There we go. Shows. Hell in a Cell. No, can't see anything. Let me just quickly Google it. I couldn't even tell you who I think would be on there. Maybe the Riot Squad could have a match. There does seem to be more SmackDown matches than Raw, so maybe a couple of Raw matches. Let's see. So just checking on sportskeeda.com. No, it doesn't look like anything, which is strange. Why would they not? I mean, I presume they're going to have a kickoff show. Cage side seats. Let's have a look at them. No, nothing. So that's it. Just the 8 matches. Um, only 3 Raw. Rousey, Bliss, Reigns, Strowman, and the tag match. And that's even without. So, I mean, this is annoying, um, and it just shows how heel heavy SmackDown is. Um, Shinsuke Nakamura is not even on the card, and he's US champion. He's not even in a feud. Um, there's nobody from to face that is a face. Like the only other faces on SmackDown at the moment, Sin Cara, who we haven't seen in months, who might be injured. Ty Dillinger, who is basically R-Truth's sidekick and R-Truth, um, which is crazy. I mean, if you could have an open challenge and Almas comes out, because who wouldn't want to see Nakamura versus Almas? Just have 2 dudes healing it up. You know, just let them have a 10-minute kickoff match, 12-minute kickoff match. Better than nothing, isn't it? Maybe a women's match. I don't know. Throw something together. Riot Squad versus Becky, not Becky, Sasha, Bailey, and Ember Moon, something like that. Or I don't know, Dana Brooke versus somebody, and or I don't know, Authors of Pain squash match against the Ascension. Just put something on. Get more people on the show. It's crazy that there aren't more matches. I presume this is either going to. So 8 matches, it's a 4-hour show, isn't it? So yeah, 15-minute matches with a load of faffing about in between. Anyway, I've started to waffle. So I hope you've enjoyed my predictions. I'm having a bit of a refresh with kind of like my logo, and well, I want to have a refresh. I've knocked something together quite quickly, and it's as amateurish as it looks, in all honesty. But I do want to try and have a look at producing a better logo. Let us know what you think in the comments, and hopefully I'll put up a review podcast shortly after the event. Okay, cheers guys, thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye.